I want to go ahead and I've told Pete, I'm kind of obsessed with making lists. I'm obsessed with ranking things. You know, he's had us do our top 5 Big 12 quarterbacks recently. He had me do the top 5 Baylor Bears who could go pro prior to the draft. Today I want to do my quarterback tiers. And I know a lot of people do this, and I don't think my list is superior to anybody's, or I certainly don't think I have any level of expertise superior to anybody. But I wanted to go ahead, as I was comparing Dak to Geno Smith and looking at those numbers from the past 3 seasons and coming to the realization, you know, Geno's not better than Dak, but they are basically the same. They are basically the same player. I thought it'd be interesting to try to do this. So I put together my quarterback tiers, and I do think I'm right because they're mine. And I want to see what you guys think. And I hope this generates some discussion online. Here's how I would tier the quarterbacks. Actually, a couple rules before I put this graphic up next to me. One, I have not put any quarterbacks who've not taken a snap of professional football in here. No rookies, no J.J. McCarthy. If you haven't taken a snap of professional football, I didn't rank you. That just didn't feel fair. 2, this isn't everybody that's starting in the NFL this year. I just kind of did my top 3 tiers. And anybody that's not in here, you can consider below these to me. So here they are, my quarterback tier list. It's very simple to me. Tier 1, I don't think you can put anybody on the same level as these 4. I think these 4 are head and shoulders better than anybody else. And the way I would define it for the sake of the list here is, if you're tier 1 on this list, you can carry any roster to a Super Bowl. Like, I think these 4 quarterbacks are that good, and that's Mahomes, Lamar, Josh, and Joe Burrow. I think those have kind of been the 4 at the top of the pack for 3 or 4 seasons now, and I don't think that's changed. I don't think anything about last season changed that for me. I know Patrick had a rough Super Bowl, but like, took a really mediocre roster, one of the worst defenses in the league, statistically speaking, to that Super Bowl. Not defenses, offenses. Their offense was atrocious last year outside of him. Josh, Lamar, Joe, they can just do things on the football field other quarterbacks in the league can't. I think those 4 are rightfully head and shoulders above the rest. Tier 2, I'm going to say if Tier 1 can take any roster to the Super Bowl, Tier 2 to me can take a good roster to the Super Bowl. They can take a good roster to the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts has done it twice. He won Super Bowl MVP. I think he deserves some respect. I've mostly got these quarterbacks in order, by the way, as you go left to right across these tiers. Jaden Daniels, I think, could be tier 1 in the next season or 2. That dude was wildly impressive last season, what he did with Washington. Matt Stafford is still that dude. Super Bowl champion, can still put the ball anywhere on a dime. CJ Stroud, I know he had a rough 2024. I think he can take a good roster to the Super Bowl. I think he's going to bounce back this season in a big way. Jared Goff has done it. Justin Herbert, I know, played the worst game of his life in the playoff game this past season, but I think he's on that tier. And then here are the 2 that might surprise some folks, but I think they've proven it. Bo Nix and Baker Mayfield, I think, are just guys that have been undervalued from Jump Street and have proven time and time and again they elevate their teams to winning football. They don't just guide a great team to wins. They can elevate a roster. Baker did it last year in Tampa. Bo did it last year in Denver. They can elevate good rosters. Their play can take a roster to another level. So again, to me, tier 1, you can take any roster to the Super Bowl. Tier 2, you can take a good roster to the Super Bowl. I think those guys can do it. Tier 3 is where I think you need a great roster to make the Super Bowl. You need every piece in the right place and everything clicking to make a Super Bowl. And that's where I would put those 8. Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, Geno Smith, Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray, Tua, and then I think Drake May and Michael Penix, to me, are really good NFL quarterbacks. I put them on that tier for now, that they could take a great roster this season to a Super Bowl. But I think that is evidenced by Dak's best seasons were his first 3, right? First 3 seasons when he had prime Zeke, when he had that dominant best offensive line in the NFL. I don't think Dak can take any roster to a Super Bowl, which is why he's not tier 1. And I don't think he can take a good roster to a Super Bowl. I think the Cowboys have had some good rosters the past 4 or 5 seasons, and Dak's not going to elevate them to that level. He can take a perfect roster or a great roster or a really, really, really amazing roster. Like if you put Dak on the Eagles last season, I think maybe he gets to the Super Bowl. Maybe. I mean, I don't want to undervalue what Jalen Hurts has done, but that's how I see these NFL quarterbacks stacking up. And I think if you're a Cowboys fan, you just have to be a realist about this. And if Pete asks me next week, yes, all of those guys to the left of Dak and above Dak, I would rather have than Dak Prescott right now if I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. And frankly, it wouldn't surprise me if Drake May, Michael Penix, maybe Caleb Williams this season, maybe one of the other rookies like Cam Ward jumps past Dak by season's end. Would love your comments if you're watching this back later. Comment below who is your favorite quarterback in the NFL, or where do you disagree with my tier list? Where have I missed it? Again, tier 1 can take any roster to a Super Bowl. Tier 2 can take a good roster to a Super Bowl. Tier 3 needs a great roster to make a Super Bowl.